And they showed me these little tablets, the chewable tablets.
Which are now known as
7-OH. Yeah. And he was like, these are like this except stronger, and people really like them. And at that point, I was like, fuck yeah, absolutely, I'll take it. I mean, it's right here. I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not going to get in trouble. And I was like, this will save me money, because a pack of 4 of those was $20.
Okay.
So there's 4. In my stupid addict brain, I'm going to take 1. Nobody ever just takes 1 of anything. So I took 1, and about 10 minutes later, I didn't feel anything, took another one. And then about 30 minutes later, I am as if I had taken a 30.
An Oxycontin or an Oxy. Yeah.
An Oxy 30. It was that, all of it, the warm, the just a little bit sweaty, but not quite too bad, the buzzy in your head. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. And I didn't even make a conscious decision. It was just like, this is it. I'm going to take these for the rest of my life.
Hey, Lou, I've got a story I want to share on the podcast. How do I do that?
Well, you can email us at getagrippodcast614@gmail.com or fill out the form fill in our link tree.
What about if I just want to show our boys some love and support the podcast?
You can follow us at official Get a Grip Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook to follow our short clips, or YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts for our long forms. We're also on iHeartRadio. We're everywhere.
What about a behind-the-scenes look at Get a Grip Podcast?
Snapchat's the place for that.
I heard all the kids are doing it.
Smash that like button and subscribe.
Boop.
All right, we are back with another episode of Get a Grip Podcast, and today we have Lauren Hayes from Middletown, Ohio, who is going to talk with us a little bit about this new 7-OH thing in Kratom. I know we're going to get into that. I'm super excited about it. But let's start with your childhood, right?
Okay, yeah.
And how Lauren kind of became Lauren. So take us back.
Okay, well, I was born in Colorado, but I only lived there for a short time.
Okay.
We moved to Middletown, family stuff. My mom had to take care of her mom. So we moved back to Middletown, and from Westchester to Middletown, back and forth. My sister is 7 years older than me. My younger's 5. So we kind of all had our own individual time with mom and dad. But my dad is a doctor and my mom's a nurse, so we didn't lack for things. We got lots of opportunities, tons of things to do. I was in choir, swim team. I mean, just whatever I wanted to do, basically, I was allowed to be involved in. Travel with the choir everywhere. It was awesome. So I didn't have like this wreckage of a childhood.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice. My mom and my older sister fought horribly, and I'm the middle child, so I'm the peacemaker of the crew, and I just did not handle conflict well at all. Like, hide under my bed, scared when my sister would get home, because she was just the like, fuck you, I'm going to do whatever I want kind of person. My parents are like straight A's, good to the core, you know? And so they didn't know what to do with her, and I didn't. I just wanted...
Is there religion? Do you guys do religion?
We do, but it's not excessive. Like, it's not weird, crazy. It's just we went to church every Sunday. My parents sang in the choir. I went to church camp in summer. I wasn't like a religious zealot or anything, you know. I loved Jesus. I did the pray around the flagpole at high school, but nothing real big that would have made us like super strict. But she was just rebellious. She still is. So, but my role was just like, let's make mom happy. Let's make sure mom's not upset with Katie. Let's make sure mom's not upset with dad. I was just really careful of that. And so I took on the role really early of like being perfect. Let's just try to be perfect and not make any waves that way.
Almost
Nobody's
playing
mad
adult
at
at an early age.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And I did grow up fast. Like, she's 7 years older than me, and even though she caused waves, I wanted to be cool too. So I kind of was like, I'll be good, but I also want to see what this is all about over here. And so, not on purpose or anything, but one night she came in and was like, "Hey, I'm sneaking out of the house." And I was like, "Cool, I'll go with you."
She invited you?
Yeah. And
Big deal.
I was 10.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Sweet, let's go." So I went out. I don't remember much of all that we did, but I know we went to this house and there was a campfire, and they gave me a screwdriver. And I was like, oh, I don't really like alcohol, but drank it. It was great. It didn't taste like anything. I don't remember getting plastered drunk. I remember throwing up and going to Perkins and eating at like 4 a.m, and then I went home back to 4th grade, back to school. And of course, then I was the coolest in my mind. I was like, I just partied with the high schoolers or whatever. And we did that a couple times through the summer that year in 4th grade. And then I just kind of kept doing my thing. I just kept going to choir and I still wanted to be good. I never wanted to get in trouble. Right. I just wanted to see what it was about kind of. But then I moved over to a school in Middletown, and I went there, and then we went to Vail. So I don't know if you know anything about Middletown, like Middletown High School, and then there's 2 middle schools. They're Verity and Vail.
Okay.
And I went to Vail, and it's like
a rivalry between the two?
Kind of. Okay. And Vail's pretty like rough.
Okay.
So I came from this school where there was like, I just lived in a really upscale neighborhood, and we were all just like really sheltered. And then we get thrown into Vail, and like the first day there's like this fight breaks out with all these girls, and there's weaves getting pulled, and like I don't know, I was just culture in shock. I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh shit. But it was kind of cool too at the same time. Like I didn't know what was going on. I was very sheltered my whole life. Yeah, I didn't know. Like I didn't know that people went to school and did drugs. Like I didn't know any of this when I went to school. So I learned quickly at Vail, there's kids selling, joints on the at lunch and stuff, but I still stayed pretty straight and narrow. I smoked cigarettes a little bit, and then somewhere along the line, I can't even remember the first time I smoked pot, but I did. I don't even remember who I was with, but we smoked. I remember my sister had little dime bags and stuff, so I smoked a couple times. I hated it. I'm the one that would like sit in the corner and cry and be terrified. Paranoid. Something was going to happen. I'm going to die. So I didn't really like it. But through high school, it's basically all we had was beer and pot. So of course, I'm an addict. I'm going to why not do it? Just do it, even if you hate it. Yeah. So I went to parties. We went to Dave concerts and stuff like that. And we'd smoke and drink. But I was a lifeguard. So I just kind of lived like this double life kind of for a while, where I was partying, but I was still being really good, and everyone on the outside thought I was just
so the outside
excelling.
The perception of you was that you're excelling. You're perfectly normal and everything's fine.
Yeah, that I was just gonna go and do great big things in my life, which I have. But
it's a lot of pressure, man, when you think like that about yourself, and those expectations can weigh on you after the amount of time goes by.
And I think I did think somewhere that they thought I had to be perfect. Like I think I thought that, but nobody said that. Like I lived in this world of I'm not good enough. But when I look back, no one said I wasn't good enough. I always got tons of support.
Right.
But somewhere inside me, I was like,
well, I grew up in a nice suburban neighborhood like you, and our school was really prestigious, and the expectations were you go to college, you get the white picket fence house, the family, all like that was what you were set to do. And like, I remember that weighing on me like, damn, that's a lot. Am I going to be able to do that? I don't know.
Right.
It's scary as a kid.
It is. It is.
Look for outlets and for us,
Yeah, for us, like we already had it. And I know looking back, I was listening to a couple of these, and I was listening to people talk about how when they look back, they had like all the red flags of this person's going to be an addict. Absolutely. The people pleasing, and then like the hiding things, the manipulation that you don't want. That's such an ugly word, but that's what it was. We were manipulating things to make it look good. Cheating on tests so you'd get a good grade because you have to get A's.
Been there.
So that's kind of where I was at in high school. With boys, I always liked the one I couldn't get. I never would have gotten him, but I tried because I was real bold. I was like, hey, I like you. I want to go out. And they'd be like, it wasn't the game that we played in high school. So anyway, I met a guy when I was 15, and who ended up being my husband. Oh, wow. And we dated. When I turned 16, we dated. He'd been in the military. He's 4 years older than me. He was rough. And I loved it. I was like, oh, he's nothing like I grew up around. Boy. He was from the other side of the tracks, and I wanted all of that. Yeah. So I hooked up with him, and in my weird, very sheltered mind, I thought, oh, I'm just going to love him enough. And I said it out loud to people. He just hasn't been loved right. I'm going to love him enough. So that was my lifetime goal for 20 years.
So just codependency? Yes. Right off the rip?
So right off the rip. So codependent. And as long as he was good, I was good. And that's the way it was going to be. And everyone in my family watched it. I mean, everyone said, don't marry him. But I did. I knew best. And my love was going to be enough. And I just say that. But So we got married. He smoked pot a lot. He loved it. So I would do it with him. And then after a while, I was like, I just don't want to do this. I wanted a baby. 18. Boom. I'm like, I want a child. I want to be married. I want to be grown up.
Did you get your baby?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
She will be 23 in a couple weeks. So I got pregnant and everything was going to be great, you know. I mean, he didn't really work. I worked at Cracker Barrel as a hostess, and we had a little apartment in Trenton, and we were young, so I was like, this is going to be okay, you know. I'm going to be a mom.
Yeah.
And so I had Nora. She's beautiful, it's wonderful. And then I kind of just thought, like, okay, now you're going to go to work, and I'm going to take care of the baby. I don't know. I was 18. I didn't know. But so didn't go that way quite so much. We didn't have money ever. He was in and out of work. And I mean, he was smoking pot. I didn't want to. And it just was bad. And I got pretty depressed. We moved into a house in Middletown, and I just got postpartum, and it just went. So, and I'm 18. I remember sitting there holding her at one point and looking out, and a bunch of kids that I went to high school with were outside playing volleyball on the sand volleyball. And I was just like sobbing. Like, I can't go play with my friends.
Right.
You know, I want to go be a kid.
Yeah.
But yet I loved this little baby so much. So they became my world, my kids. So after her, we kind of were making it work. He was going to go to school. He did a couple self-ventures, you know, landscaping, that kind of thing. Anyway, so then I got pregnant with my second daughter. And again, same thing. Things are going to get better. We're going to do different things.
This will fix it.
This will fix it.
Yeah.
In the process of between Nora and Olivia, I had gained a lot of weight, and I decided to start going to the gym and being healthy. And that, because there was so much unhealed, turned into, you know, some serious disordered eating. Like, it was a control that I could have, kind of. And so that goes alongside with addiction really well. I don't know how much people know, but that's really hand in hand. So I did that for a while. I was pregnant with my second daughter, and I was walking like 5 miles. I wasn't gaining very much weight with her. So they took her a couple weeks early because it was failure to thrive. She was little bitty, but still on the outside, you know, I wasn't so thin that I was sick. Sure. Nobody thought anything was wrong. I was good at keeping it. He didn't tell on me, because then I would have told on him. And that was kind of our relationship the whole time.
Right.
So that kind of manifested, and that plays a huge role in my drug choices my whole life, because I didn't want to drink too much because it had too many calories. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to take Xanax because it made me eat. And I didn't want to smoke pot because it made me hungry. But meth, coke, pills, you don't need all those things.
No.
So that's great for me. You know, so that was my drug choices going through.
Wow.
But so after Olivia came, I had the 2 little girls. Things were great with me being a mom. My marriage was never great. You know, I tried, and he tried, and I tried, but it wasn't great. So things kind of got rocky. And I started talking to somebody else, and he found out. And he found out by bringing home 151, and we were throwing back shots, and he got me to tell him. And then he went over to the guy's house, knocked on the door. It was a big thing, you know, and I was devastated, because that's not what I wanted to happen, you know. I even remember telling the guy I was talking to, crying, I love my husband. I don't want this to happen, you know, but I was just so messed up in my head. And so when that happened,
did he beat the shit out of the dude?
He wanted to. He didn't.
Didn't.
No, he didn't. He just threatened him and came back home and was basically pissed at me for the rest of my life. You know. So not that he was any angel in that regard. Right. There was plenty of other women,
I'm sure.
So that kind of changed the whole dynamic from that moving on. So we started going to church, and his family was Pentecostal. Okay. So there's where a religious zealot comes in.
Okay.
So that enters the system, and we're going to church all the time, and I'm trying to live a good life for God, and the eating thing's still going on over here. We're going to church, and he was like straight arrow, super strict. Like, he would come home and take DVDs that the girls were watching if they were like anything less than spiritually good, and throw them out, toss them.
Wow.
very strict and that kind of thing. And then, he starts coming home saying, God wants us to have more kids, all this stuff. Like, I'm good with the girls. Like, I was really happy with the girls. And he kept on and kept on. And there was a lot of manipulative relationship between he and I. Like,
yeah, sounds like it.
You owe this to me, this kind of thing. I need a son, that sort of thing. So I said, okay, you can have 1 month. We'll try for 1 month. And got pregnant that month. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to have another baby.
Wow.
We went and got the ultrasound, and here's baby A and here's baby B.
Oh, no, twins.
So there's twins. We're living in a 750 square foot house with a bathroom that was like you had to shimmy in to go to the bathroom. And I have two girls already.
You've already got 2 kids.
Yeah. And I just remember crying, and she's like, there's 2 babies. And I was like, I don't have room for 2 babies. She's like, oh, your body will grow. I'm like, no, that's
not the body. Yeah, right.
So we took it as best we could. I mean, I was thrilled with 2 little babies, but at the same time I was terrified.
Yeah.
So when we were still in church, so this was God's blessing, which it is. It was a blessing to have the boys. I would never change it for anything, but it was scary. Especially because we just never had money.
Man. Yeah, I would have been terrified.
Yeah. It was just, it was a lot. So, because I had 3 and 1. They were 3 and 1, the girls, when I brought the twins home. And they just wheeled them in. And they're like, here, you can take these 2 home. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I don't know how to do this. Yeah. And so we just did it. I just made it happen. He did some like tree work and things. It's all blurry when you don't sleep for months. But we didn't have much. We were up to the max on food stamps because we have 4 kids now. So we got tons of food. But we didn't, there was times where the electric was shut off, the water was shut off. We had to go to my parents to take a bath, or, it was chaos. No car, no phone. I was just at home at the mercy of being at home with the kids, and at him when he wanted to take me places and things. Now, there was not a lot of abuse, like in the regards of physical abuse or anything like that. It was more like verbal
and like, emotional.
Yeah. But it's nothing that's tangible that you can grab a hold of. But I have journals that I wrote in of the things that were said, and it was constantly like weighing. I had somebody tell me one time it was like a faucet dripping.
Yeah, it erodes away at that.
Yeah, and it just kept dripping and dripping on me and dripping, and I had the kids, and they were my world, and so it just built. And like I said, we were still going to church, and I was like, I gotta go back to work. We don't have enough money.
Are you using drugs at this time?
No, just the food.
Just food.
Just disordered eating was a drug for a while. And he was my drug.
Yeah.
I mean, really. But I was too afraid to drink or anything. We were very in church, very religious. So I was like, I got to go to work. We need money. We need money. You're not keeping a job, and we need money. So I went back to work at a pharmacy. And
here we go.
I loved it. I loved working at the pharmacy. I was medically raised, like my parents, that's all we talked about. So I loved it there at the pharmacy. And one day I was driving to the pharmacy, and I was stopped at my parents' house because I was having period cramps. Opened up the cabinet, and this kills her because she's like, I started it all. No, it wasn't you. I'd already done a lot. Sure. But I found some hydrocodone in there and popped 2 because I had periods.
Yep.
And I went in, and I had the best day of work that I think to this day I've ever had.
Sounds about right.
I mean, I was just all over it. I was
buzzing.
Talking. Yeah. I knew what to do. I knew how to, like I was the smartest person alive, and I loved it. And I was like, man,
it's exactly how it feels.
Yeah, it did. It just felt great. So much energy and bubbly and everything perfect that I thought I was supposed to be, And so I went home, didn't think like a whole lot, except that was really fun. And then I met a woman that was taking Xanax from the pharmacy. She worked with me. And I don't know how it came up. I think maybe I said something about how it made me feel good. Because at that point, it triggered me to be very intrigued with how these things worked and which medicine made you feel like that.
Which pills do what.
And how do I do, and do I mix this? I mean, I just went at the scientific brain. And she said she took Xanax, and I was like, oh, I'd never taken that before. I took it. I didn't like it that much, but she was taking them, and she had a whole method to her madness. And she would take some, but she sold them, and she provided this whole like really lavish life for her kids.
Wow.
Because she sold Xanax, like a ton of them. And so I kind of saw she was doing it. And I was like, well.
And she worked with you. She was stealing them from the pharmacy.
Yeah.
What year is this?
2002, 2003.
Okay.
So
this is before they really started like cracking down.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, 2002, 2003 was when I had
still Wild Wild West.
Yes.
With the pills. Yeah.
So she ended up getting caught.
Oh.
I played around with it a little bit with the pain pills. A little bit. I got enough to where I was sick. But for some reason at that time when I stopped taking it, I wasn't so dope sick. I think I was just too scared because she had gotten caught. Okay. And she went to prison. And
you were like, fuck that.
I was like, I'm done. I quit the job. I left. I was like, nope, never doing this again.
Not happening.
But after a while, because I did love it so much, I went back. It was different. I was going to church. It was good. I wasn't going to take anything.
Sure.
But things at home were bad. And I just remembered, you never forget the first opiate high. Just don't. If you're an opiate addict, you just never forget. No. And so I don't remember the first time I took from there, but I did. And there was a method that I had that I used. And that started a 7-month time of you walk into a place that has everything that you could want. And this is 2010. So there was still... when I went back to the pharmacy. Okay. So I jumped, sorry. Okay. I was there at the other pharmacy for a while, left when that girl got caught. A few years later, I went back. Okay. And I was working there. And I was a scientist. I was like, if I take this and this, I'll be up for a while. And then I'll take this and I'll come down and this and I'll feel better and this. And I could play with all of it. Yeah. Just the only things that were locked up at that point were like Adderall, Oxycontin, Percocet. They had hydrocodone of all flavors on the shelf, Xanax, Klonopin, all of it was right there for me to get. And so, but the safe was not always shut, and the safe, they pulled stuff out of the safe and filled a prescription, put it on the shelf for somebody to pick up. So it sits there and nobody comes and picks it up. Then we have to put it back in the stock. So there was just all these things that you could figure
had
out.
Opportunities.
Yeah, and it was there. And I heard a little bit about the pill mills and stuff, but I didn't know very much. Like, we didn't even have TV. Like, I was still very sheltered with my kids at home. So I kind of felt like I was the only one doing this. I didn't know that other people had addictions like this. And so it was very to myself. My addiction was just me. I just did. I didn't party. I didn't sell them. I just did it to be a better mom, to work better, to, be a better wife. I just thought that's what it was doing. Work out better at the gym, like all of it. Yeah. And every once in a while, like I took a couple Adderall when I could get it. I took a couple, one time I found an Oxycontin. Didn't find it. It came across my way, an Oxycontin, and I had it, and I went in the bathroom, but because I had heard just bits and pieces of how dangerous it was, I freaked out, and I split it in half like an idiot. Like I stood and split and took half of it, threw the other half away because I was so scared. If I would have known then. Yeah. But
those were the holy grail for
I know. They were it was the 80, and I was like, okay, well, I threw it away. I was too scared. But meanwhile, I'm taking probably at the height the Norco 10s, the little yellow oblong ones. I was taking probably 15, 20 of those in a handful. Damn. Down the hatch.
Wow.
6 hours later, if that, more. I made sure to watch how much Tylenol was in each one. Yep. So if I could get a hold of some Roxy, if I could get a hold of something that didn't have Tylenol in it, I would take that, and that was a score. And then, the...
your shit.
Yeah. I did. The Adipex, that's the diet pill, but it's also basically an amphetamine. So those were not locked up. So I took those to keep me going if I was nodding out. It was just this whole science experiment. Ambien to sleep, if I was having withdrawals.
And you're just taking all this shit as you can.
Yep, as I can. Just playing around.
Must be nice.
It was nice. For a while. Yeah. It was for a while. There was lots of times I would drive home from work and be like, I'm going to get caught. I'm going to get in trouble. I got to get rid of this. Toss it.
Freak out.
And then I'd be homesick and I'd be like, oh my God, I'd drive back over to the side of the road, look for a pill. Like, I'm not going to find it. But yeah, I was afraid to go because I would have. I don't even know what could have happened if they would have caught me. But I kind of started noticing, I don't know if it was paranoid from all the drugs or what, but I kind of started noticing like the scheduling was changing and I was working with only one pharmacist and no other tech. And I kind of felt like maybe that was, if there was 2 techs there, they had to have me doing it, just me.
So they're trying, you're thinking they're trying to like catch you.
Yeah. Now I'm looking back and seeing that. At that time, I wasn't sure. And then at one point, some woman came in and she was checking out. She was telling me about, she was getting 180 pain pills or whatever. And I'm talking to her and she was like, yeah, you know how it makes you feel and it makes your pupils real little. And I'm having this agreement conversation with her. Looking back, I don't know who she was or why she was talking to me about that. But I never went back after that day to the pharmacy.
Really?
Yes. Because I just got all these really weird checks. Like, I'm going to get in trouble for this. I'm going to get.
You just resigned?
Mm-hmm. Well, what happened is I went home that day. There had been a couple of times that my ex-husband had tried to wake me up. And I wouldn't wake up.
World.
Just nodded. Like, I didn't know what Narcan was. We didn't know what any of that shit was.
No, of course
not. It was 2011, So he just knew he couldn't wake me up. He was scared. He was drinking. There was other stuff going on in our marriage. He was seeing somebody else. There was a lot of stuff going on, but that's his story to tell. But I came home and I was just out of it. And his dad came over and he's like, give me the pills. And I was like, I can't do it. Because I had tried to stop and I was sick. I had the bright idea at one point of like, woke up at 3 a.m. I had 3 of the yellow Norcos. I popped them and I woke up in the morning. I felt better. I was like, oh, I'm brilliant.
No, maybe
I just need to set an alarm, take it in the middle of the night so I don't feel bad. So, I didn't even know what addiction was, but that was what it was. Right. And so I came home and I was like, all right, I was just so broken. And I was like, I need help. So I got in my wallet where I always kept them and dumped everything out. I think it was like 3 Adipex, a couple Roxy, some Norcos and a couple Valium and a couple Ambien. I mean, like I had a few of everything. Yeah. Because I was going to be off the next day. And I gave it all to him. I was sobbing and I got in the car and his dad took me to the hospital. And I went in the hospital. It took every ounce of my being to walk in and say, I'm addicted to these pain pills. Yeah. Because I had kids. I did not want to lose my kids. And in the grand scheme of things, I had also had another child. So this is 5 now. Okay. I had 5 under 5. I was 25 years old. And so I didn't want to lose my kids. I just wanted to get better. And I didn't know how. Right. And the hospital, I told him what I said, what I had taken. And the nurse looked at me and was like, her eyes got like this big. Because I'm coherent.
Isn't that funny, though, how normal people are like, oh, my God. And we're like, yeah, it's a Tuesday.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I just had to get through my work day. I'm not sure what's wrong with you. But all they did was give me some Zofran and say, here's a pamphlet and send me home. And they didn't tell me what to expect. I didn't know what real dope sick was going to be like.
Sounds about right for that era.
So I just went home and I was like, okay. Yeah, it was. And I looked at it. I was like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I can't stay here right now? You're not going to let me stay here. No, you need to go home. So it was defeating. Yeah. Because my medical background of being raised in where I was expected doctors to help me.
Yeah, and you finally had the courage to say help. Mm-hmm. And no one helped.
No, nobody helped. Not even like here's a 12-step. Right. Nothing. It was like a pamphlet about, nausea and vomiting and like maybe a recovery house somewhere that I didn't even know what they were at that point. Right. So went home and I suffered for 2 weeks, man, 3 weeks. He took the kids to his brother's house. They basically like just kept me in the house. There's no cars, nothing. And at that point I was done. I had to get off. I knew it. I had turned the corner. I was done. So I just laid and sweated out in bed, just hallucinations, just madness for 2.5 weeks.
And you're coming off more than just painkillers here. We're coming off Ambien, Xanax. We're coming off
alcohol, cigarettes, all of it. I just dropped it. So it was bad.
You're going through it.
I had a dream. I swear I had a dream where there was like people singing around my bed. I mean, it was just weird coming off of all that stuff. And I just swore I would never take opiates again. I was like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I'm going to die. My son's second birthday, my twins' second birthday. I remember I had been clean for like a month, and I was at their birthday party, and I was exhausted. You know how like the exhaustion just lasts and lasts forever. And I was like, can't do anything. I'm so tired still. I just wanted to.
The lethargy, yeah.
I wanted to get something to get me up, but I couldn't. And a funny story that happened during that time, I thought, you know, those little Gain things you can sprinkle in your washer that smell good, the little round pink ones that look like a Roxy. I saw one in my basement floor, and it was like 3 weeks into my withdrawal, and I was like, oh shit. And I was like,
it was a pill.
I went under to get it, and it went under the washer, and I flipped the entire washer over to get that because I was like, I will feel better. I pulled the insides of my car out looking for them. I mean, I was, God. But anyway, I swore I would never do opiates again, and off to the, you know, back to being a good girl again. And I wanted to. I did. He quit drinking, back to church. You know, I'm going to stay home with the kids. And
so everything kind of settled down.
It did. Yeah, actually, it kind of did. And I wanted to homeschool the kids because I'm an extremist, and if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it hardcore. But with having all 5 of them and not having much money, I couldn't. So I found a school that I could work at, a Christian school I could work at, and they went to school there. So for 7 years, I worked at this school, and they went to school, and I did not use. The eating came back with a vengeance. Any issues with food, I wasn't eating. I lost a bunch of weight. I was super stressed, but took on a ton of responsibility and ended up being like the administrator of the school for several years. Wow. So through that, lots of things marriage-wise happened. And a friend of ours died of cancer, and I was there with her when she died, and it was really traumatic. We just needed a change of scenery. So we went to Florida. Okay. We're like, we're just going to leave. I'm going to leave this school that I'm doing great at, and where the kids are doing great at. We're just going to leave.
So geographical cure to Florida.
Yep. And we got to Pensacola, which is where we lived for years. Beautiful. Party town.
Gotta imagine it's beautiful. Yeah.
It was gorgeous. White sand. The little fun places to go, tons of color. Man. Land Shark was on the beach. You can go and get beer. And about 6 months before we left for Florida, he started drinking again. And I was actually kind of glad about it, only because he was such a stick in the mud. Like, he was
without
just, it. So I was glad, like, maybe you'll be able to have friends again and stuff. So we would hang out and have drinks then. And it's always a problem with me, but it wasn't a problem at that time. You know, like, we would sneak out in the garage and drink. I didn't want the kids to know I was drinking. So it was always a problem. But, so we went to Pensacola, and that was basically where my world fell apart, in Pensacola. Okay. Because it was so beautiful. We had no accountability, nothing, no family. Nobody knew us, nothing. And he walked into a great job somehow. And I walked into working at another Christian school, and we were making more money than we'd ever made. So it could have been a really great geographical cure. But we were not done. I mean, I just wasn't done partying. We were drinking. The drinking went way through the roof. I was at a bar, and that's when I found Kratom the first time. So I was in Florida, and I was looking up, like, what's close to an opiate. I got online, and I looked, what's the closest thing to an opiate that's over the counter, and Kratom came up. And I was like, what is this? Okay. And I looked at it, and they sold it at gas stations. So I went to a gas station, and I bought a big package of the capsules with the powder in them. Mm-hmm. And because I know I'm an opiate addict, I threw 10 or 15 back the first time. Like, okay, we'll see what this does. Didn't do much. I think I drank a little bit more that night than I could have normally, but I'm through and through an alcoholic. Like, I drink, close the bar down every time.
Doesn't matter.
I never don't. I never just have one. So I wasn't sure if that's what it was, and it was a waste of money because it wasn't going to get me high. So we just kept going to the bars. My kids would stay home by themselves. So you step back to a woman who wants to be a really good mom, and I'm a train wreck, and it's not helping my addiction at all because my self-hatred is just disgusting because I knew my kids were fucking awesome, and they are the coolest human beings on earth. And I'm screwing them.
You're not giving them the best.
Every day. And I'm trying to put on a face. And I remember telling my son I wanted to get this tattoo. And he's like, you can't do that. You know, God's going to be mad. And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, I was living 2 lives. And they saw it firsthand in Florida. You know, I left them at home My oldest was in 8th grade, I think, and she watched the kids. It was safe legally. But for us to be gone all night, every Tuesday for karaoke night, every Friday, Saturday for this at this bar, it's a lot for her. And our friends had two twins, and they brought all the kids to my daughter to watch. And so it was awful for them. So that was the first time I ever tried cocaine. So we're in Florida. I'm 36, 35. And I'd never even been to a bar before. Because before the drinking, I already had little kids when I was 18. Anytime I drank or smoked, it was at my place.
Yeah.
Anytime I took pills, that was my thing. Yeah. Nobody did it with me.
Isolating, yeah.
Yeah. And so when I went to a bar and I was like, I can sing karaoke, I can have fun. My husband at the time is fun. Finally, we're going to do this. And there was this guy sitting down there, and I looked at my ex and I was like, please go find me some pills. Come on, just go find me some pills. Somebody's here's got to have some. And nobody did. And he's like, nobody does, but this guy says he's got Coke. And I was like, oh, everybody said I would love that. I'm sure I'll love it. Because everybody that knew me was like, don't ever do Coke, Lauren. You're going to love it. And so, of course, I was like, yeah, let's try it. And I went out to the guy's car with my ex, and he, got it out and made a line for me. And he's like, you ever snorted anything? I was like, I tried to do it with a pill once and it didn't work. So no. And he told me how to do it. And then he looked at me and he was like, are you sure you want to do this? Just as blatant as can be. The dealer. Fork in the road.
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely, I want to do this. I've come off pills before. I know how to do this. It's fine. And I did my first line, and it didn't do what everybody says, like makes you up. It just chilled me out.
Okay.
In a very happy, nice, chill way. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, and I could drink all night, the same old story.
Way more.
Oh my God. Yeah. You can drink and then do a line. But the thing that killed me is it wore off so fast.
Yeah, I know.
Like I'd be sitting there watching TV with my kids, I'd had a half a bottle of whatever. And I did a line and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom again. Yeah. My nose is bleeding. There's tissues everywhere. Yeah. And it was just like, this is pain.
Imagine that with needles. That's what I did.
No. I'm so glad.
I mean, you literally just stabbing yourself over and over with cocaine because it's the same thing. You still crave it every 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with a shot?
Yep.
Wow.
Makes it a different drug. It affects you differently. It is a crazy feeling. But even with a shot, you're still going back and forth, jabbing yourself over and over and over and over and over. It's terrible.
Oh, I did not know that's the way it was with Coke. Mm-hmm. So I never did that. I'm thankful, so thankful I never did. I probably would have. Had someone had shown me how to do it at that time, I would have done it.
Yeah.
But we were blowing so much money. I think we went through like 800 in 1 month. Just him doing it, me doing it. And we were getting it from the same guy, and he brought it to our house. Like he hand delivered it. It was phenomenal. It was like we didn't have to go anywhere and get it.
Yeah.
But after a while, I would look at it, and he'd leave me some, and he'd take some. Because if he left it for me, I'd be gone. Just he knew that.
Right.
So he'd take some, leave me some. I started looking at it. It had like yellow in it. It wasn't.
Somebody stepped on it, put something in it, yeah.
Yeah, and I did some of it, and one day I did it, and I was like pulling my hair, like literally, like lost my mind.
Not the same.
And I was pacing, and I called somebody from the school that in Ohio. I was like rambling for hours about, I don't even know what I said to her, and it was a mess. And I was like, I can't do this shit. I'm gonna lose my mind. It scared me. I never did it again. And thank God I didn't. He did. He continued to do it for a couple more weeks. Long story short, he ended up looking terrible. It scared me. I was like, you've lost 30 pounds, I think. You look terrible. And we were fighting all the time. Alcohol does that. And that dripping was catching up to me. And the alcohol was allowing me to say what was on my mind. And I was losing it. I mean, I left a bar one time, got in the car, squealed out, hit a dumpster full on, knocked it against a fence, drove off, left him at the bar by himself. He didn't have to, but he did. He fixed the fence around, like repaired it all so they didn't call the cops on me. It was just stories and stories like that, just train wreck. And one night he took a big couple shots of bourbon. We were fighting. He got on his motorcycle and left. And I just stayed and drank. The kids were with his mom. And, when he didn't come home, and he didn't come home, and he didn't come home for 12 hours from his bike.
Okay.
And the kids had come home, and they're like, where's Dad? I was plastered because I was so pissed at him. I the kids weren't home. I was just drinking by myself.
You were drinking at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like nighttime. My daughter's outside praying because they're still in this, like, we're going to Christian school. They're outside
Church
praying, asking God to keep them safe, which thank God they did. And he comes rolling in a pair of shorts that don't belong to him, no shirt, his head's wrapped up, and he's got a serious concussion, tons of brain damage. They drove him home in an Uber. He got kicked out of the hospital.
Wow.
They drove him home. Now, I don't know all the story because nobody called me. I don't know why nobody called me. He'll never tell me why nobody called me. He probably told him not to. But I had no idea what had happened. We thought he was dead. So when he walks in and just goes into the bedroom, that was it. Like, we were getting ready to move back to Ohio, and that happened.
Wow.
So we had to pack the house. My kids basically packed the house for us. His dad came down with a U-Haul. We packed it all up, and he is like wrapped. His hands are so swollen. He's got burn, like motorcycle
very
burn.
Very clearly gotten into a major accident.
Oh my God, bad. I don't know how he didn't get into DUI. I don't know what happened. He just walked home and we left town.
Wow.
So when we got back to Ohio, we shouldn't have driven. It took me 17 hours in a van that I had wrecked because of drinking with all my kids and him sick, and he's getting the Norco 10s. So who's taking them to get us home? It was just a mess. I was saying the other day, we drove home to Ohio. We must have looked like a bomb had exploded. We just roll out of the van. I was up for 36 hours when I got home.
Jesus.
And he came in, and I don't even know what happened after that for a couple of days because I take that back. I had done cocaine on the way home to get us home. I didn't do it after that. So, but anyway, that got us home, and we moved in with my parents, and I just continued drinking. I mean, he had so many bad burns. My mom went to the hospital and got special burn care and took care of him there. He should have gotten grafts. He's got terrible scars, but I was drinking. I'd go down and take bottles of wine. I'd go through 2 bottles of wine a night at their house, and my parents would love me to the end of the earth. Like, they love me so much that it's enabling.
Gotcha.
So they saw that. They had to have seen what was going on with my family. And nothing was said except for, I buy those bottles of wine because I know you like it, but you don't have to finish a whole one. That was basically the only thing that was said.
Wow.
Or why do your pupils look like that? Those were the only 2 things that ever came up. But we just kept drinking.
You've avoided all consequence up to this point.
All consequences.
No consequences.
None.
I mean, you've had your internal emotional
marriage
battles,
consequences,
those things, but legal, nothing.
I drove around Florida so drunk and high. Never got pulled over.
That's crazy.
Never got in a wreck.
You're so lucky.
I drove with open containers. I was throwing back.
You didn't give a shit.
No. I was like, whatever. My mindset was, if I act like it's not a big deal, I won't get caught.
It's not a big deal, yeah.
I just act like it's normal. Nobody will think anything.
Apparently that worked.
It worked for a long time. Didn't work forever, but it worked for a long time. We moved into a house and got our kids enrolled. We were in like the Miamisburg area. And I don't remember. It's so blurry, but he went back to work. I wasn't working. I tried to go back to the school I was at, but I was a train wreck. I couldn't go back there. It was like Holiness Pentecostal, skirts to your ankle, long hair, no makeup or jewelry. I couldn't go back there. So they went to school, and we were just drinking. This is like 2019, so right before the pandemic.
Okay.
And let's see, we had been fighting a lot. He was trying to talk to some other girl. I knew about it. And I just packed the kids up one night. We were at a campfire, and I took them home. I was pissed, and I was ready to end it all. Rewind back for all those times. There were several times that I said I was going to kill myself. Half-assed tried. Didn't ever work.
Okay.
Because I didn't really want to die. I wanted to get out. And so that day, it was going to be that day. And I went home, and the kids were downstairs. Some of them stayed. He came home. I was pissed. I was like, I'm going to pack up and leave. I got a suitcase, was putting stuff in, and he would not respond to me, which was really frustrating to me. It's like, just fucking answer me right now.
Yeah.
So I took the suitcase and like threw it on him, and that was all that happened. That has to be said because I was a DV at this point because I hit him with that suitcase. And but then I got underneath the bed. I don't remember my thought process except for I just want to die. Found his gun. And I was like, okay, I've shot a gun once in my life, and it was at a shooting range when I was a kid. I don't remember. So, and it's like kind of like a movie, like everything kind of slow-mo. I walked down the hall. I walked into the bedroom that my kids were in. I held the gun up to my head, and I was like, I'm going to fucking kill myself. And then I totally lost it. I started sobbing. I held the gun out and shot the wall instead.
Wow.
And then I dropped the gun, and I was like sobbing because I didn't want to die. I don't know. It was a mess. I was so drunk. I had taken like 5 Ambien and drank, and I mean, it was bad. So he comes in and he was like throwing up because he thought I had killed myself. It was this big thing. And I was like, I got to go. I called my friend. She came picked me up. I got to go to your house. I can't stay here. I'm not safe.
Yeah.
It scared the shit out of me. Like the whole process of holding a gun to your head. And
oh, yeah. It's
I was
traumatizing.
Oh my God. So I went and laid down in bed. I had taken those pills. I was ready to go to bed. And the police called me on my phone. And they're like, we're at your house. Everything's okay. You know how they play. Everything's okay. We just want to make sure you're safe. Where are you? And I didn't know that I didn't have to tell them where I was.
Right.
That I didn't have to give them any information. But I did. I was like, I'm at my friend's. I'm safe. The kids are safe. They're, whatever. They're like, well, we need to talk to you about what happened.
Yeah.
And I was like,
here we go.
Okay. I thought he was going to get in trouble because he had been pushing my son around, and my son got burnt, which is part of why I got mad. So I was like, you got him burnt, and all this stuff. Anyway, they came to my friend's house, and for 2.5 hours,
interrogated
they sat and interrogated me.
Jesus.
And I was black hoodie over my head in the back of their car like this, and they were waking me up to talk to me. Not legal in any regard.
No.
3 cops leaning over they wouldn't let me out. I was not locked in. I was not handcuffed. I had not been arrested. I was just sitting there.
You weren't even detained.
Nope. And they were just talking to me, and I was so out of it that I don't even know what I said to them. I talked for a very long time to them. I don't know what I said. But end of the story, they take me to jail. And I go to jail because I admitted that I shot a gun in the house with my kids.
Okay.
So didn't matter that it was all his fault, which was the reason I was an addict in the first place.
At least in your head, yeah.
Right.
Like
I told myself all the time, this is his fault. And that's what kept me sick for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there in the holding, and I had never, remember like what I've told you about my life.
Yeah.
Like I'd never lived anything
this
like
is brand new for you.
And I'm 36, 37. And I'm sitting there in the jail, and I'm waiting. I'm sure somebody's going to come get me. Like, they're not just going to let me sit there.
It takes them forever.
And they're processing, and there's people coming in and leaving, and people coming in and leaving. And I'm like, why am I not leaving? Somebody's going to come get me. Nobody came and got me. So I'm sitting there, and in the process, I'm getting all these different experiences of people. Like, there's one lady that's like, it was just very traumatic. There's one lady that, where I was sitting in the Montgomery County Jail, there was like these clear, the rooms with clear doors so that people could stay that were going to hurt themselves. And there was some lady that was screaming, saying she ate her baby. And there was like, she was on her period, so she had blood all over the walls.
Oh, God.
And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, take me out of here. What is going on? And sure enough, they brought me up to what they called the princess pod. I guess it was for well-behaved women. And I went in there and laid down on the bed and was like, I'm fucked. My life is over. I've lost my kids. Everything. It's done. My life is over.
Yep.
And I was furious with him. It wasn't me. It wasn't my fault. Still wasn't my fault at that point. And I laid there, didn't have alcohol withdrawals like I thought I would, because I was drinking pretty solid for a couple years at that point. But it was over the weekend. I finally got a hold of him the next day. I'm so sorry. I didn't know they were going to take you to jail. I don't know. He had been in the police academy. He had been in the military. I think he knew that they were going to take me to jail. Yeah. But it was our anniversary. So that just sums up my marriage. That was what it was. So anyway, I was there for 3 days. And this was not 2019. I'm sorry. This was right as the pandemic was happening. So 2020. Okay. Because I remember the judge saying to me, I want to keep you here. He was furious with me. My last name at the time was at the end of the alphabet. So we had a video, and I sat and listened to everyone else go up.
Before you.
And he was like, he knew them by name. They'd been there before. There was all this camaraderie. And then I get up there and I'm like, they say what I did. And he's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I was like, first of all, I was so nervous anyway to talk to him. I was like, what? I I mean, I
know.
didn't mean to do it. I was drinking,
know.
you know. And he was so furious. I was thinking, like, this guy just, I mean, the stuff that they just told you they did, like, why are you being so mean to me is what I thought. But anyway, he said, I'm going to let you go home with someone, but it cannot be family, and you will not see your kids.
Jeez.
And it was basically because they didn't want the jails full because there was this new sickness that was coming out.
Yeah.
And so I went back to my friend's house and I stayed there for 72 days. I was not allowed to see my family, go to my home, see my kids, nothing. And this is the mom who worked at their school. This is the mom who homeschooled them. I was never away from them, not one night. One time for a mission trip, and that's it. So it was devastating to me. I have a countdown pictures on my phone of the days that I would get to see them again. I missed my daughter's 16th birthday while I was there for 72 days. It just happened to be while my girls had their birthdays, and I'm done. I went to AA meeting. They told me to go. That would make my case look better. Mm-hmm. I went. I was a wreck. I thought, okay, this is what I have to do. I really didn't sell out to AA or to 12-step. I was just like, I got to do something.
This is something I have to do.
I have to do this.
Yeah, right.
And so I went. I swore I was not an alcoholic, that it was him, and that if I just got away from him, I would stop drinking. But the first day I got back home from those 72 days, we had a celebration. My kids were there. And then I went out to the garbage and I opened the garbage and the whole trash can was full of bottles from the floor. Like 2 of them out on this farmhouse, this big, huge trash can. So they had been having parties while I was gone.
Right.
And I remember.
For 3 days.
For the 72 days I was gone.
Okay.
Yeah, there was lots of parties going on. And I looked at the house and I just remember saying, I'm not quitting. There's no way I'm going to be able to quit in this. And I just didn't get myself a way out. That was just what it was going to be. So back in and back to drinking we went. And it wasn't enough. The gun wasn't enough. So I had all these legal repercussions and jail and payment. And he wrote this big letter to get me out of trouble, like that I had been through so much and that they needed to pardon me and all this. It worked, whatever. Wow. I didn't get any more trouble. And I went home and we were just going to drink better this time. So we kept drinking. It was still tumultuous. It was bad. I got a really great job somehow. I applied online drunk at midnight one night, and 2 months later I get a call at this Fortune 500 company as an administrative assistant. It was great money. He had a pretty decent job that he somehow landed, but we're still drinking so bad. And no more drugs at that point. He had quit doing the coke. I think he smoked every once in a while, but we ended up drinking, and he was at a party for his company, and we were in Dayton. I was at the grocery. He went to Dayton. My sister, who was also my very best drinking partner, very best codependent drinking partner, is my sister. I tried to leave her out a little bit. It's not my story. Mm-hmm. But she was a huge part of my drinking, huge part of my using. And she calls me. I'm getting ready to go out to Dayton to meet him at a bar, and she's completely obliterated. I can't even understand a word she's saying. And I hear horns honking. Beep, beep. I'm like, where are you at? What's going on? I don't fucking know where I'm at, and I'm hearing cars going by. I'm like, where? Somebody in the back's like, we're in, where's the North Tip? We're past Tip. She was past Tip City. And I was like, why are you going to Tip City? You don't know anybody in Tip City. We live in Miamisburg. Stop driving. So long story short, I'm driving. I hop in my car full of groceries, and I'm going to go find my sister because she's going to kill herself for somebody else. And on the way, I take a couple drinks just to deal with it and get out there to see her. And I find her in a Dairy Queen parking lot in Tip. Her friend had sent me the location, and I found her, and she was slumped. And so I tried to pull her out of the car, and she was dead weight. And finally she opened her eyes, and I was like, we have to go. She's like, I'm fine. The drunk banter that you do. Finally I get her out of the car, and she's like, I have to go to the bathroom. I said, okay. So she just pulls her pants down to go pee, and flat on her back, lands on her back, on her head. And And I'm like, get up. She always fucked with me. So I'm like, get up. I'm kicking her. She won't get up. Her lips are turning blue. I'm like, she's dying now. This is what this is. The girl's like, just leave her there. She's fine. Like, she's not fine. I did not want to call the police, but this is not working. So I like lifted her up by her coat and I'm like, wake up, this whole panic. So I called 911 and they came and picked her up. She had 3 brain bleeds and a full skull fracture. They saved her. Wow. She was dead for a minute, but they brought her to the hospital and I followed. I had been drinking. Wasn't as bad as her, but I had been drinking all the time anyway at that point. So trying to talk to the police, I call my ex who was at the bar. I'm like, I'm not going to make it. And I can't understand a fucking word he's saying. So I got this one laid up and I got him over here. Right. And I'm like, my kids are at home. Somebody needs to check in. So I was going to tell him to go home. Well, in my crazy, chaotic drunkenness, I decided to get in the car and drive over to the hospital and see him. Or to the bar to see him. And we have a couple drinks. He's being a total ass. Long story short, he gets in a fight with somebody. I didn't know it. He's in some alley somewhere fighting. I get in my car. I'm pissed because I couldn't find him. And I drive home. And I couldn't find him. And once again, in comes the car. And he is completely assaulted in Dayton by some dude. Had to have plastic surgery. His face is tore to shit. And I didn't know what happened. Like, I'm worried about him and my sister. So in the big mess of it, she's in the hospital with 3 brain bleeds and he's in the hospital with 1 and a fucking broken face. And I'm going back and forth, because they're both my codependents. I need both of them to be okay. And they did it the same fucking day. So that wasn't enough though either. So we just keep drinking. And finally, I just, I'm working, his face recovers, our marriage is dead, and I just decided it's time to leave now. I should have left 20 years ago, 15 years ago, it's time to go. And so I get an apartment like right down the road, and I'm still drinking, and still no legal trouble for me besides the gun. Mm-hmm. So I'm still driving and drinking. I went and talked to police officers on those wrecks. I was drinking. I had to have smelled like it. Right. But still nothing. And my kids, unfortunately, had learned just to keep their mouth shut. Like, they didn't tell anybody because they didn't want mom to get in trouble. Mm-hmm. And they didn't want anything bad to happen. So they held a lot. I mean, it's just, to think about it now is so sad. But I ended up leaving, moving out. 2 of my kids stayed with their dad, one of which was furious, wouldn't speak to me for years. 2 years, 3 years almost. And I got my own apartment and the other 2 came with me. And then it was, mom's the cool mom.
Did you legally divorce?
Yeah, we did. Okay. Yeah. So I left. We weren't legally divorced then, but yeah, I did leave, filed for papers, and I was the cool mom then because I was drinking and I let them do whatever they wanted. So they're smoking, their friends are coming over getting high, and we're just having a big party at mom's apartment because I'm finally, since I was 18 years old, on my own. I had never had a place by myself. Right. So I was going to live it up. And I drove past. I was drinking. I was going to the gym with my sister. We were getting drunk to go to the gym, then getting drunk after the gym. We were a mess. She and I together were just a mess. And she had a prescription for Xanax. I had a prescription for Xanax. And we were just like living chaos. I don't even know how we were doing it from day to day, how I managed to keep that job. There was a point in time where I drank a half a bottle of vodka and took 30 Xanax, tried to die. My mom had to come and take me to the hospital, lay with me there. 30 of the footballs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And a half of a handle of vodka.
Stomach.
They didn't. I was asking her on the way here because I was like, Mom, why didn't they pump my stomach? She said, I didn't know what you had taken. They were just watching your vitals. She said, I just sat there and watched you the whole night. Wow. And then they sent me home. So the amount of pills I've taken, it's a wonder that I can sit here and talk to you. So I got back to, I took those. Yeah, I was in the hospital. But I was driving past a bar one day when I was living on my own, and he was there with a bunch of people, and I was drunk, so I went in to make a scene, and I did, and I got pissed because the kids were at home by themselves, and he wasn't there, and what the fuck are you doing, and threw a tantrum and drove off pissed, and I got a DUI. So when the cop pulled me over. I had my sister with me. We were getting ready to throw down and get in fights and all this. I've never fought in my life except with him physically. So there was nothing going to happen but bad. But I got a DUI, and I was like the one that was like, I'm so sorry. Thank you for saving my life. I should have killed someone. Like, this is me in the back of the cop car just sobbing. And they called my oldest daughter to come get me, which I mean, a lot of people don't want to disappoint their parents, but to have your child come and get you from jail because you're wasted is like the worst. You just want to crawl under a hole and die. Like, it's awful. And so I went home, and in the process of all this, I had met someone who's now my husband. Like, and he didn't know I was drinking. Like, I kept it all. We were pretty early on. And so I had to tell him. And I had to tell people, and I was like, I've got to quit. It's still Adam, my ex's fault, though. It's still his fault.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, I've got this DUI class coming up because they gave me a diversion. I had to go to the class.
Yeah, the hotel thing.
Yeah. I'll quit then because I won't be able to get alcohol. So I was convinced that's what I was going to do. So kept drinking. I didn't have money. I was a single mom. I had 2 teenage kids. I'm using all my money on alcohol. So I'm going to Walmart and making sure I have food on the self-scan. I mean, it's pretty simple to do, to take food out when you need it. I was taking cartfuls of groceries.
Wow.
And loss prevention is in line with me.
Gotcha.
One day. And thank God I hadn't stole Miller Lite, which is what my favorite one, the screw top, because I could fit them in my purses. I didn't have any of those. I just had like cheese and peanut butter and jelly and bread and ham, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they pulled me into the loss prevention office, and
it's always degrading.
Oh my God. And they have facial recognition. So I don't know if you've been there. You see the faces.
I've been
My
caught.
face was on there a few times.
Yeah.
So they had known that I was doing this. And I was just like, I'm so sorry. I looked at the cop and I said, I'm still singing the song. I'm a single mom. My ex-husband's an ass. He won't give me any money. And he was like, my wife just died 3 weeks ago. I'm a single dad. And I was like, okay.
I don't want to hear it. Yeah.
Just go ahead and shut up now.
Yep.
I'm just going to be quiet.
That'll be that.
So with that, though, it was under $100 worth of stuff. They sent me home.
Yep, they normally do.
I went home. I got a ticket.
Yep.
I was free. I was sure that they're going to take my kids. They're going to ruin my life. I've done this. And it didn't happen. They sent me home. I went to court, and they were like, the judge was like, I thought they were going to send me to jail again. Jail for 3 days wrecked me. Like, I was so scared to go back to jail. I hear the stories on this podcast of people that be in there for so long, or other podcasts. No, I was so scared to go back. And so I was scared they were going to do that. And I was just a mess. I was shaking, crying. And they're like, we're going to do a diversion. I don't want to see you here for 6 months. If you pay the restitution and I don't see you again in 6 months, this will not be on your record.
Good. Yeah.
And it's gone. Thank God today. But still, it scared me enough to start thinking, for whatever reason. I get made fun of a lot. Like, my sister used to tease me all the time. Walmart is what it took. The Walmart incident is what it took. But it did. It scared me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was talking to my mom on the phone. I'll never forget. I was like outside. It was dark. And I was like, Mom, she's like, if he would give you child support. And I said, this isn't his fault. This is me. I did this all by myself. I got the DUI. I did this. And it was like, as simple as that sounds, it was like the sky opened up and the Holy Grail came to me, and I knew what was happening in my life. And I was like, I'm not going to drink anymore. And I didn't. I just didn't. I went to meetings. I went to the diversion thing. I just threw myself into it. At the diversion class, and a guy from AA came in, and he had he had a great story. And he said, if you can go home and pull out more than 3 things that were court related or relationship related due to alcohol and drugs, you're an addict. You might be an addict. And it was great for me. I took it all in. It was like perfect. So I went home, and from the diversion class, I didn't drink. And I started running again. I was in a very healthy relationship. I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to get it. And 6 months into that, I found kratom again. So I was clean. I was getting better at my work. I was doing better. Nothing had healed necessarily. I just was clean.
Right. You just weren't drinking.
Yeah. And I was away from the toxic relationship. Right. So I had a good chance, but I wasn't doing any recovery. Right. And so I walked into the gas station. Hold on that. At some point during all that chaos, I had 2 back surgeries.
Okay.
I had back injury, and yes, I was on pain pills, and yes, I abused them when I got them, but I didn't ever take them again. Once it was, the script was gone, it was gone.
They were gone.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I was having some back pain that day. I went in, and there was a little shot, the little extract shot that said Viva Zen, live free and pain free or whatever. And
Blue bottle.
Cool.
Yep.
It wasn't the blue bottles. It was the one next to it. They're silver, and it's Viva Zen is like the feel free, and then the Viva Zen, and there's like a woman's and a regular strength and an extra strength. And I got the extra strength, of course, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, it's not illegal. It's not going to get me drunk. It's going to help my back. And I took it, and I was on the phone with somebody from work, and I was like, chatty Cathy, just going off, feeling great, no pain. And I remember thinking, oh shit. Like, okay, this is it again. I swore I would never go down this road, but these will not make me feel that sick. Right. They will not make me withdraw off of things like opiates did. So slowly it picked up. I would buy one, and then I would buy another shot, and then and they were $10 a piece. So I go from drinking and then sober for 6 months, starting to get some finances back, to now spending more than I did on alcohol.
Yeah, easily.
$20, $30, $40 a day on this stuff. But nobody could tell. Like, you can't tell. Nobody knew. And it was helping my running. It was helping my back. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I could convince myself that it was okay.
Yeah.
And I remember going to my boyfriend at the time, and I told him, I said, I took something from the gas station. It kind of made me feel a little weird. I think I was trying to feel it out. And he was like, why would you take something from the gas station? I was like, I don't know. I mean, it said it was going to make me feel good. It was next to the caffeine. Right. So that's kind of where his mind was at. He didn't really know what was going on with this. But it just slowly caught up until I was taking 2 of those in the morning, and then 2 at lunch, and then 2 in the morning, 2 at lunch, 2 at bed, 1 before a race, 1 after a race. And it wasn't doing it for me. The tolerance was really quick with kratom. It's really quick. And
I've heard that.
It's just, it goes away.
There's a ceiling effect too, where you can't like get past a certain point, no matter how much you take.
Right. Yeah. So it would just make you sick.
Yeah.
Kind of like with coffee. People love caffeine. You can't drink 10 cups. It'll make you sick.
Yeah.
Same with this. So these shots were getting old, and I was running out of money. And I found ways to get money, but that's a whole nother thing. But I found ways to go to different places and try to get like deals. Like, well, I bought one from you yesterday. I mean, I was just manipulating. Like, I would go in, get deals. Well, at one point I walked into a corner store, and he was like, well, we're out of those. I used to sell out all of the places close to me were out of the ones that I bought, because I bought so many of them. I don't even know at the top of my game how many of those I was taking. And they showed me these little tablets, the chewable tablets,
which are now known as 7-OH.
Yeah. And he was like, these are like this except stronger, and people really like them. And at that point I was like, fuck yeah, I mean, absolutely, I'll take it. I mean, it's right here. I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not going to get in trouble. And I was like, this will save me money, because a pack of 4 of those was $20.
Okay.
So there's 4. In my stupid addict brain, I'm going to take 1. Nobody ever just takes 1 of anything. So I took 1, and about 10 minutes later, I didn't feel anything, took another one. And then about 30 minutes later, I am as if I had taken a 30.
Oxycontin or an Oxy. Yeah.
An Oxy 30. It was that, all of it, the warm, the just a little bit sweaty, but not quite too bad, the buzzy in your head. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. And I didn't even make a conscious decision. It was just like, this is it. I'm going to take these for the rest of my life. So I had decided at that point just to that was it. I was just going to take these, because I wasn't going to get in trouble. And it was expensive. It was very expensive. And the habit took over insanely fast. But, it was helping my back. And that was my go-to.
Your excuse.
It's helping me. Yeah. It's helping me. Now, My kids were the only ones that knew kind of how much I was doing. They didn't know, but they did, like, because they would find the little shot things in the garbage.
Okay.
And at one point, my daughter, who is extremely intelligent, came to me. She's medically minded too, and she was like, "Mom, I've read about these. Don't be taking these so much, that kind of thing." So she confronted me like, "This is not good for you." I'm like, "It's fine. Like, I know what I'm doing. I always knew what I'm doing because, I know my body. I've played with it enough with the drugs before to know what I can take." Also, I see a psychiatrist, so I'm also taking, antidepressants.
Psych meds,
Yeah, just several different psych meds. I had played with that all the way through my 20s. Lots of different things. Seroquel, Risperdal, Abilify, all of these things I've taken.
Been there. It's a fucking nightmare finding the right ones.
It is,
I'll tell you that.
And Prozac, all of them. My God, the antidepressants.
Sucks.
So when you found one that works, you just, I don't know. For me,
it's
I
like
just
a sigh
stayed
of
on
relief.
it. Just stay because it didn't mess with me and it helped me. So.
But the side effects from some of those other ones, man.
Bad.
Just in your day-to-day life. Yeah, it's bad.
Even just not sleeping or sleeping too much. That's bad enough.
Yeah, I know.
So, and Seroquel, like the eating, again, I couldn't take Seroquel because it made me eat too much.
Oh, you eat everything on Seroquel. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, I did. Meanwhile, I'm taking all of those things through all of the drinking, all of the everything. I'm on pharmaceuticals. But my psychiatrist had been prescribing me Adderall. I do have ADD. I do. It's not the hyperactive. It's the attention issue that I've always dealt with, always. And so I thought Adderall would help. Of course, there's always something in my mind that says I'm going to lose weight on this too. So I was taking it for both reasons. But I never got high off of Adderall. I never got like buzzy or anything.
Because you actually have ADD.
Right. Yeah. So it just... Even if I took like 4 of them.
Just slows you down.
Yeah, it would just make me more chill. So I was on the Adderall 30s and then my other psych meds. And I'm taking this Kratom and now the 7-OH. And I'm taking the chewables. And it started out, they come in like the 18 milligram tablets. And that's all there were at that time. Because apparently it was very new.
Okay.
16 months ago, I guess was 2 years ago, maybe was when they started selling the actual 7-OH tablets. So I found them pretty soon. And I started taking those, and there was no conscious decision of not taking them, except just how do I find money to do this? Because it was all my money. I was borrowing money from my parents every month. I was missing my car payment. I was letting my insurance go. So I just didn't have any money. I was spending, at the highest point, maybe $250 a day.
Wow.
On this stuff.
Wow.
Like borrowing money from everywhere, doing what I need to do to get money, that kind of thing. I did what I could. But in the process of all of that, so I'm working somehow. I'm taking Adderall. I'm taking 7-OH. And I meet this woman at a doctor's office who was telling me that she's on Adderall too. We just started talking. I don't know. Addicts find each other.
Sure.
We just do. And so she's talking to me, and she has Lyrica, which always helped me. I'm like, oh my God, that helps my back so much, which is true.
Pain. Yeah.
It was not an addiction for me. It helped me. They just wouldn't give it to me because I am an addict. So I don't know if you know about, like, that's a C5, I guess. So,
I'm familiar with
Lyrica is a C5, and
it's like gabapentin, but a step up.
Yeah. So it really did help with my back pain. So I was like, oh, I'll give you some of my Adderall if you can give me some of that. It helps so much. And in my mind, twisted up, I was like, I'll just stop taking the 7-OH if I can get this Lyrica from her.
Yeah.
So that starts that short-lived relationship with me and her, where I'm giving her my Adderall and she's giving me her Lyrica.
Okay.
But then I would run out of Adderall, and I'd be like, hey, did you get your script yet? Because I need some Adderall. I ran out.
Right.
And so that's where that starts. Well, one day I go to her and she doesn't have any, but she has meth. I'd never done it.
Interesting.
I'm talking like I'm a grown adult, like had kids. I've never done meth. I was never going to do meth. And I was like, no, it's okay. Thank you. And it almost like made my stomach sick just to think about it. I was like, no, it's okay. I'll wait. But I didn't want to wait. I'm an addict. I'm already in pretty active addiction. Like, I wanted to feel something different.
Addiction, yeah.
I want to feel something different at all times. And so the next day I called her and I was like, I just don't want to smoke it. I don't want to snort it. I hate snorting stuff. She's like, you can eat it. I was like, really? I didn't know that. She's like, yeah, you can. So she gives me, I go over and I'm like, okay, well, this is just until you get your prescription or I get mine. So, yeah. So she puts like a couple crystals in a capsule and I take it. Didn't do much, actually. And I was like, oh. But I got over the hump of being scared.
Okay.
You know, like now I'm not scared.
That
I did
fear,
it. Nothing bad happened to me.
Yeah.
So I can do it again. So I called her back the next day, I got more, started getting a feel from it while I'm still taking this other stuff. And finally she's like, look, my nephew or cousin, whoever he was, he's the one that gets this for me. Like, she didn't want to keep being, because I was pestering the hell out of her. I was calling her all the time. So, you know, I meet him and his wife or whoever she was, and I start getting it from them. I wanted Adderall. If they had it, they would give me that. If they and if they had pain pills, they would give me those.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, equivalent to 7-OH, I bought 2 Perk 10s, the 10, 325 or whatever, and I took them and it didn't do anything.
Wow.
Nothing.
Wow.
I hurt my back at one point in the whole process of this. I went to the hospital. They gave me morphine. Nothing.
Wow.
Dilaudid. Nothing.
So the cross tolerance is there.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, so people that say like 7-OH is not an opiate. Yeah, it is. I don't know that they say that anymore, but they used to say it wasn't an opiate. It 110% is.
Jacks your tolerance.
If I can't take Dilaudid and have pain relief,
that's crazy.
There's a problem.
Yeah.
So, I would get those from them, but then I would get scared because who knows what we're getting anymore with pressed pills and stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I stopped doing that. But still, the meth, like, I would go and buy it. And I think they were ripping me off. I don't know how much it is. Still to this day, I don't know what really people charge for it. I don't know. I was paying fucking arm and leg for this shit. And I know I shouldn't have.
Yeah, meth's pretty cheap.
Yeah, no. And I know that now, but then I just...
Whatever.
Anyway, so I was giving them money. I was taking the 7-OH and I was snorting the meth. I promised myself if I did not get a bubble and take it home and smoke it, then I wouldn't get addicted to it. And I never did do that, but I would smoke it when I was at their house.
Okay.
It was way different. Way different. I'm probably glad I didn't get one and smoke it at home. But shortly after taking the 7-OH and then dabbling in meth, I was like, I just don't want to. I didn't want to be this way. You know how you are in your addiction. I don't want to do this. I'm going to stop doing this and I'm going to keep doing this. So I kind of backed off a little bit from getting the meth from them, and I was taking more of the 7-OH. Now, in the process, 40 milligram tablets came out, 80 milligram tablets came out.
I know they started to up the dosages because people naturally needed more.
Absolutely, yeah. And so I saw the box at 80s. I think that was the name of it. I was like, sweet, finally. So I'm buying those. Those are $30 for a 4-pack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally taking 500 milligrams a day. Like, it was so crazy, insane expensive how much I was taking. There was a bottle of 10, 30 milligrams. I would take that and say, okay, this has to last me all day. And by 10 o'clock that night, I'm trying to find some place that's open to get more.
Wow.
So I was taking all that, and I started, like, I couldn't sleep. Meth, 7-OH.
Yeah.
Not eating, which was my cup of tea.
Right.
I was happy about that.
Right.
And I started seeing things, like just random weird stuff. Like I thought I heard something out my window, and I'd look, nothing there. And I'm like, oh, this is what meth does.
Just from sleep deprivation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so, or lack of food, or both. And then it was kind of getting scary, and I wouldn't go into work. Things were just falling apart. My son came home from school one day, and I was talking to him. And I was like, oh, it's such a beautiful day outside. Your Aunt Nikki said it's really nice. And he's like, Aunt Nikki's not here.
Wow.
I thought that their aunt was sitting on my couch, and I had been talking to her.
Yeah.
So scary.
Yeah.
And so this all happened within about April, May, June, July, August, October, 6-month period from start of the extracts to meth and 7-OH.
Okay.
6 months. About 9 months to quit it all. So at about 6 months, I started having those hallucinations and things, and knowing that the end was coming quickly because I was just going to lose my fucking mind. I have a video of myself freaking out because I thought there was a mouse in my house that was like, had shorts on. I mean, this whole elaborate thing.
Wow.
I'm terrified on this video. Like, is this going to come get me? Like,
Wow.
It's laughable now, but it was very scary then. And I went to my my then fiance, my husband's house now. He knew that I was struggling. He had broken up with me once in the whole process of this because he found out about the Adderall. I was trying to snort it. I couldn't. It didn't work very well, but I tried, and he walked in on me doing it. So he was like, I'm out. He's got his shit together. He's not going to do this. So we had some up and down issues, but he didn't know how bad it was again. Maybe he didn't want to know.
Right.
I don't know. But it was very apparent. I was so thin and not well. And I went to his house one weekend, and I had a whole psychosis weekend of like thinking people were there, thinking that I had died in a car wreck, having images of like real life images, thinking there was blood everywhere. These were not just hallucinations. It was like psychosis massive.
Jeez.
And when I didn't take the 7-OH, I was dope sick.
Yeah.
Extremely sick. And I couldn't even drive. Like I would get like thrown off delusional, couldn't drive if I didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going back to get more, scrounging for like pennies trying to get stuff. And after that weekend, I went home, and of course he's like, I told him I was quitting kratom, and that's why I was having all these bad things happen to me. He didn't know much about it, but I knew he knew something was up. And so I finally told him one day, I was like, I can't do this. I need help. I was screaming and crying. I just want to die. I'm the worst mother alive. This happened often because I knew I was the worst mom in the world. And
building
and so,
up.
Yeah, it was just building. And he was like, he stayed with me the whole day. He stayed home from work. And then he was like, he has kids. He's like, I have to go. You know, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know if I'm okay or not. I'm not going to be okay. But when he left, there's a big bunch of mess. I somehow got in my son's car and wrecked it across the street at the apartment. I was trying to do something. I walked up to the corner store, got some more 7-OH, took so much of it. And then I had Valium, a script for Valium. So I took some of those, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it through this. I've done too much. I've ruined. I even had a new chance with this guy, and I'm going to ruin his life doing this too. And so I just took so much, and my son called family, and they called poison control. They called the ambulance. So my son, who was 15 at the time, was so scared because I was seeing things and freaking out that he called and was like, something's going to happen to mom if I don't do this. He saved my life. I'm sure of it. He saved my life. And the cop come in. I don't remember a whole lot, but I remember the police officer coming in, and I was like, why the hell are the cops here? And I went up to my room, shut the door. I was crying. My sister came over and sat with me for about an hour, tried to get me to go downstairs. And she's in mental health. So she went down and tried to talk to the police officer so they didn't like take me, like just let me come to it myself, kind of is what they ended up doing. So finally I was like, fine, I'll go. And I'm like taking stuff like I'm going to pack for a trip. I'm like, what do I need to take to the hospital? Anyway, I get in the back of the ambulance, and I was like, I just remember sitting there. It was all a blur until I went out my door of my apartment and got in the ambulance. And I was like, okay, we got to do something. Something's got to give. I'm going to die or what? Before I came downstairs, I took the rest of my Valium.
That's your bottom?
Mm-hmm. That was it. I walked out, and my son had to call 911 or my family to save my life. They'd seen enough. That was enough. Mm-hmm. And so I went to the hospital. They kept me for 72 hours. The worst thing about this whole 7-OH kratom thing is that when you go and tell a doctor that you're taking it, they look at you like, what?
You're fucking crazy.
They don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
What even is it?
And at this point, it was, almost a year and a half ago that they didn't know what I was talking about. I'm like, how can you help me? I need help. I could have really used some Suboxone. I'm sure of it.
Sure.
But they didn't know what it was. And so I was just, again, sick. I was in the hospital. I had the flu on top of it, so I was really sick. And when I left, the agreement was you're not going home. You're going to a rehab.
Okay.
Or you're going to your parents.
Okay.
I said, I'll go to my mom's. So I went to mom and dad's. I lost my job. I lost my car. I had wrecked. By the time I went to my mom's house, I had wrecked 2 cars, lost my license. My kids went to stay with their dad, which was the epitome of the knife in my heart. And my job that was taking care of me, was gone and my apartment was gone. I had nothing. Nothing. I had a bed at my parents' house, thank God. And I went there and I didn't work for 7 or 8 months. I lived at my parents' house and I recovered.
Just recovered, yeah.
I made recovery my life. I made meetings and counseling. I kind of like created my own intensive outpatient.
Yeah.
And I went to 2 or 3 meetings a day. I got a sponsor. I went to counseling twice a week. I did drug tests. They didn't expect me to, but I did it just to show like my family and my friends. I requested a kratom drug test because they won't test for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't come up unless you do it because it's a very expensive
specialty test.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I specifically said the counseling service, like, I need you to test for this. And it helped me stay accountable too.
Sure.
And I lived at my mom's. I didn't have a car. I didn't work. I mean, it was just really dark. It was sad. My fiance at that time stayed with me through all of it, which shocked the hell out of me. I wasn't sure that was what was going to be. Some of my kids didn't speak to me. I mean, I went on crickets with my oldest daughter. She was like, if I talk to you, I'm going to hurt you. I'm not going to talk to you. These are, like I said, the most amazing human beings I know. One of them would text me every morning, you've got this, Mom. You can do this. I mean, just having those little things come in when you're in early recovery is life-changing. Yeah. Life-changing. And so there I started on my recovery journey, going to the meetings that I absolutely adore. Those people that I never thought I had anything in common with have become like sounding boards and strong people in my life that I can look to. And it's so cliche and so cheesy, the one day at a time and all the things they throw at you, but it's so true for me. It's 100% true.
Yeah.
And I was burned in church, man. Like that Pentecostal religious, you can't come to church if you don't have a skirt on.
Oh, it gets old.
I was like, I'm not going to this church thing. I'm not.
No.
But I say AA is my church.
Right.
I have a higher power. I have a relationship. I have recovery. That didn't come to me on my own. Like just by my doing, you see what Lauren does. Like I do it wrong every time.
Yeah.
And when I realized that it was not my control, like I don't have control of this addiction disease. I can't. I had to give that control over. And when I did, there was the beginning of freedom. Does it mean I don't ever think about it? No.
Right.
Does it mean I didn't go and walk in vape stores and look at that stuff? No. When they took it off the shelves in December, I was so relieved.
Oh, I bet.
I was like, thank God, thank God. Not only does nobody else have to suffer, but I don't have to fight that ever.
Yeah.
Because no matter how much a drug burns you, it's still there. The memory of what it made you feel like in the beginning is still there.
Yeah, it's that selective memory thing. We remember the good, but the bad fades away until you pick up again, and then you pick up right where you left off. That's what they say. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, the play the tape forward, you know, they say in meetings where it's like, okay, so you're going to take this one drink, then what? Keep saying, then what? Then what? Right. You're going to go to buy one 7-OH tablet, then what's going to happen? Yeah. And that's always been really good for me to remember, because then what always ends up in like me and the floor going to die.
Good.
You know?
Nothing good.
So I started that 7 months of being at my parents' house and working on my relationship with my husband, working on my relationship with my kids, and just giving up and letting go and letting God. I got a job. Somebody gave me a car.
Okay.
Like, just nobody gives anybody a car. It was an old 2002 beat up Honda, but it ran.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean a car? And this was 6 months in. I didn't get these things like right away, but it was like, I prayed and prayed and prayed and was like, okay, fine. Like, I fought my kids being at their dad's. I didn't want them to be at their dad's, but that was what was best for them right then. And if I could have grabbed a hold of that, then that was the next step in healing for me.
Right.
So I tried to, and I did. And I was like, okay, they're where they need to be. They're where they need to be. And that was another baby step. That was another baby step to realizing that I don't have this. I'm never going to have this. No. This is never going to be something that I've got in my hand. And so they gave me a car. And then a month later, I got a job. In the process of that 6 months, I had to go retake my driver's test. Mm-hmm. I had to go get my temps again. I had to, like all of the things. I had to pay a ton of tickets off. My parents I probably owe them $100,000. I don't know. They've paid so much for me so many times. And they helped me just knowing that I was getting better. And that was the driver. Like, it wasn't anymore about me being perfect. I had to get over that too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a shit show.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what I paint on my face. I'm still a shit show. And I'm just going to own it. And those things helped me tremendously in being where I'm at today. But I got the job. And I absolutely adore my job. Love it. Maybe it's because I went for 7 months without working and I'm somebody that loves to work. Maybe it's because I didn't think I'd ever have a job again.
Yeah.
But I just love it. I love going to work every day. And I had some residual. Coming off 7-OH is different in the way of it lasted, for the first year. It would just be one day I would have withdrawals again. Like sick, cold chills, sweating, like out of it, no sleep for one night, and then I'd be back okay again.
That's so weird.
It was wild. And when they say that pause, post-acute withdrawal syndrome, I don't know if it's just for kratom or 7-OH, but it was so real. It's just after a year of being clean that I feel like I'm myself every day. Because I wasn't. The sleep was weird. It was just...
Yeah, it takes time.
So bad.
It takes time. Absolutely.
And another thing was like, it's just right there on the shelf.
I know.
So alcoholics, that's their drug of choice. I have so mad respect for them.
Yeah, because it's right there on the shelf.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they could go get it and no one would know.
Nope.
And they're not going to go to jail for it. You know, that's the same way it was with this stuff. You know, no one would know. And I could get it and it was there all the time. Anytime I would go for a run, it's everywhere. Vape stores are on every corner, everywhere. And so it's really hard to get past that addiction. I am very glad that it's not on the shelf.
I'm glad you came on and shared about that because we've had one other person come on and talk about 7-OH, and it needs to be something that is talked about more often because it's the reality of today's world and kids, right? I mean, God only knows what kids got their hands on that shit and are stuck in it still. You know, people are still struggling with it regardless of if it's on the shelves or off the shelves. You can still get the shit.
Right.
So we're not at the end of this road yet.
No.
We've yet to see what's going to happen, but we will very soon, I assume. So.
Well, and people say like it's safer because it doesn't have that respiratory depression effect.
It does, though.
It does.
Yeah.
That's news. Like,
I don't know if you can OD on it, but you know, it does have that effect.
I don't know. I might have been able to, but I would have OD'd in my mind. Like, it made you lose your mind. You just weren't okay.
Right.
After a while, like you'd take more, and then you were just like not even in this world. And it's not a glamorous, you're not in this world. Right. It was like a panic-induced terror.
Yeah.
And like you said, the kids could get it. And it's not just because we're in Ohio and it's a Schedule I in Ohio. It's not in other places.
No, other states haven't taken it off the
and
shelves.
Some people don't even know what it is. That's why it's so important to talk about it because it is a real opiate, real problem that will wreck your life.
I agree. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and especially about the 7-OH and your experience with that. It means a lot. And congratulations on your recovery.
Thank you.
Most importantly.
Thank you. Yep. It's awesome. I feel better than I ever have. So
Good. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks.
Thank you.